Okay, welcome to Final Trouble Council, you guys. Daniel, Nick, Toby. This is as far as you can go in the game. It turns to the jury. The jury will ask questions. They'll vote. One of you will win. Hopefully, it doesn't tie. That's that. We're gonna do opening statements first. We're just gonna go alphabetical order. So first up is Daniel.
Of course. Okay.
Just try to make it brief. We're already a little late.
Okay. No promises. No promises. I talk a lot. But first of all, I just want to say thank you. Before I start any speech, I want to say thank you so much to the hosts of this game, the ones I didn't meet prior to this game, Jay and Drew. Y'all have been amazing hosts and great people to rant to about this game. I know we've shared some laughs, so thank you so much, and I hope that we can stay friends beyond this game. And of course, to Alex, the host that I did know before the game, thank you so much for convincing me to play this season. I know it took a lot of convincing, and I know it took a very long time, but it has honestly given me closure in my Tumblr server career that you knew that I wanted. So thank you so much for being a great host, but more importantly, an amazing friend. So thank you for that. And finally, I want to say good luck to my fellow finalists, Nick and Toby. You all were great allies, but more importantly, amazing friends. Thank you both for an amazing game, and I cannot wait to root for both of you in future endeavors, cheer for both of you if either of you win besides me. But yeah, now my attention turns to the jury. I'm a very analytical and very statistics-driven person, so I am going to be throwing around a lot of stats tonight, whether it is in my opening speech or just in general. I try to analyze my game through stats because I think it's important to really lay it down. So my first stat that I'm going to give everyone on the jury is a number, and it is 1,063. I know it seems kind of random, a random number, but there have been 1,063 days between my first day in Tumblr Survivor Season 15, which was my first season, and this moment right now. So think back to how you were 1,063 days ago. I was 18 years old, a freshman in college, really excited about life. Toby was 15, 16 years old. Nick was still in the womb, an embryo. So as you can see, like, you change a lot in 1,063 days. And the first time I played Tumblr Survivor, I actually played 3 consecutive seasons because of how controversial I was. I came in very overconfident and not looking to make friends. I was just looking to play the game, and I was just looking to be there. And I became a bully, and I became known for insulting everyone all the time. And that is not the person who I wanted to be, and that's not the person who I was in my eyes. So after playing 3 consecutive seasons, I left the community, being known as one of Tumblr Survivor's original villains. 2 years later, after playing my last season, I reluctantly accepted a spot on Tumblr Survivor Andalucia, afraid that I was just going to fall into the same patterns as last time. I was afraid no one was going to like me. I was afraid people were going to think I was a bully. And above all, I was going to have a dreadful experience. And I'm very proud to say that regardless of what happens, I've had an amazing time getting to know every single one of you, whether you made the jury, before jury, or now. I am very proud of how I behaved in this game. But more importantly, I'm very proud to have been able to create friendships with so many of you. So regardless of what happens tonight, I am very thankful for that. So thank you very much to everyone for being a part of this experience. And I have a lot of closure now in this very dark part of my online life. So enough tears, enough whatever. Tonight, I am here to convince all of you that I am the deserving winner of Tumblr Survivor Andalucia. And when you think about Survivor and you think about winners, you know, you take in a lot of things into consideration. You consider physical game, you consider strategy, you consider social game, you know? There's so many parts to the game, and I'm going to analyze my own game compared to the other two sitting next to me. I'm not trying to say I was the best player out of everyone in the game. I'm trying to convince you all that I'm the best option of the three sitting here tonight. So let's start with physical game. We're not very good at physical challenges, if you ask me. None of us really stood out as physical threats. I won 1 individual immunity. Toby won 2, if you count the 1 before merge. And Nick, unfortunately, didn't win anything, but that's okay. Still love you. So you can't really count physical threat in that sort of environment. So if you're voting based off of physical performance, we're kind of split. So you have to go to the next level, which is strategy and social game. So let's talk strategy. My strategy coming in was very simple. I was just trying to lay low, trying to let people always be in front of me in targets. So I had time to develop connections with as many people as possible. I knew that if people knew me prior to this game, they would know that I'm a pretty smart guy and I can analyze situations pretty well. And so if I was able to sit behind people who were always above me in the totem pole, I could eventually knock them down and get me to the highest point. And I honestly can say that I did that, especially at merge. Every single round, I analyzed every outcome. If I take out this person, will that affect me in next round, the round after that, the round after that? If I save this person, will they work with me? If I keep this ally, will this ally be mad at me? I thought it all. Every single one of you on the jury right now has your place because I thought it would be better for my game. If I was playing this game personally, I think the final 3 would be different. I probably wouldn't even be here. I had to play this game very cold cut, very I'm here for a mission, I'm here to win, but I'm also here to make friends. That's why this game was so hard for me. But that was my strategy. And I knew that my strategy would go really well with my social game, which brings me to my next statistic, which is something that you're probably going to hear a lot. You're probably going to hear a lot of arguments against, which is 0. I am the only person in this entire game to not receive a single vote. Whether that means you voted against me and I played an idol, whether that means you had double votes or whatever, I never had anybody in this game write my name down on a piece of parchment. And I take a lot of pride in that. And I really take that all with my social game. I'm very proud of my social game. I do believe that I made a connection with every single person that's on this jury sitting in the final 3 with me, and even some people pre-merge. And it goes beyond saying that social game just kind of ends at game. That wasn't my goal here. So I hope that by saying that, none of you on the jury, or even the 2 of you sitting here, think that the personal relationships that I made with you were only for game. That is incorrect, and I would never do that to any of you. My goal for my social game was not only to make friends, but to make sure I was consistently safe. And that seemed to be the case. There's proof of it. If you remember Touchy Subjects, Jordan Pines was winning every single award, right? But there was one award that he didn't win. And that was, who do you trust with your life? It was me. I won. And there's a reason for that. I really took the time to get to know every single one of you beyond the game level, so that we can enjoy this experience after the game was over. For example, when I talk with Chris about our old 10 gauge times, if I would talk to Toph about, his personal issues that we had going on and how I could relate to that and how I could help him with that. When it came to Jordan Pines and our adventures flopping in Tumblr Survivor and guys who we thought were cute. If I was talking about Petra making fun of Lady Lizard and talking about how 10 gauge people are kind of crazy sometimes. If I was talking about, freaking Poteet, about how our old org days kind of came together in this game. I talked to Isaiah about his rap career or his basketball playing times, If I had Taylor talking about how this was his first long-term game and how he was scared and nervous, but I played too many of these, so I probably could help him a little bit. Whether I was Snapchatting LA about her cats while she was in French class, talking to Nick about how he's one of the youngest people in this cast, but still made it to the end, or Toby talking about the guys that we thought we were cute, or his Model UN stuff with Game of Thrones. I made a personal connection with every single one of you. And I'm so happy to have made friends with all of you in this game. Whether you liked me or not, if these friendships were fake, I thought it was real. And I really do believe that is why I am sitting at the end with 0 votes cast against me and with mainly no one targeting me throughout the entire game. But that goes without saying that physical game, strategy, social game, that honestly doesn't matter at the end of the day. I'm going to leave you with one final number, and that is the number 1. For the jury tonight, you have one final decision that you have to make in this game. You have one vote that's going to decide who you want to represent this season of Tumblr Survivor. And I think all 3 of us here would be amazing representatives of that. However, at the end of the day, I personally do believe that with the combination of my strategy and my social game, that I am the clear winner of Tumblr Survivor Andalucia. Again, I want to say good luck to Toby and Nick, because without a doubt, you both deserve to win as well. And I'm really looking forward to having fun beyond this game. But tonight, I'm going to argue and I'm going to fight for my win. Jury, I hope this speech reaffirmed your notion to vote for me tonight. And if you weren't planning on voting for me tonight, I look forward to answering your questions to sort of change your mind and to get you to vote for me instead. Again, good luck to everyone, and thank you so much for letting me speak tonight.
I'm still muted. Thank you, Daniel. Next is Nick.
Okay. Hey guys, it's been one heck of a season, and I hope to talk to you all afterwards. If I come to you at all, I hope that we can make it up afterwards and yeah, still talk. Coming into this game, I knew none of you. As soon as this game started, relationships, and that was when I formed my first alliance called the Wig Snatchers, which included me, Amanda, Toph, and Petra. When the first twist was announced that both of us were going into tribal, I came up with the plan to blindside Jenna. After we swapped, this is where I became close to Daniel and Pines. Tribal never lost immunity, so there wasn't much strategy going on for me during this point of the game. It was just mainly making relationships and continuing to form good bonds with people. So when we swapped again, there were 5 people in my tribe. Me and Pines with the to blindside at tribal council. But that was pretty much it for my pre-merge gameplay. 3 times with 0 votes. It's on point at this time. Then we merged this with me, Daniel, Isaiah, Petra, and at the first merge tribal, we wanted to make a move in blindside Chris. After that, tribal really wanted to target Toph. I tried saving him. Didn't really have the power to do that at that time. Okay, so then with his, he reset the round and he started coming for me, calling me a snack position in this game. So for the first time that next tribal, I did get votes. Then I went from at the top to the bottom. At the next 2 tribals, they voted out my 2 closest allies. At this point, I basically knew my game a dead man. At this point, I knew I basically had to go with the possible target that could get me safe. And yeah, that's when me and Daniel started getting really close. And that's when we decided that Madison was a social threat, and me, him, and Taylor all voted her out while she didn't have a vote, and she was exiled. Surprisingly, she gave me the immunity twist, which was possibly my biggest, or is my biggest move in this game, and that was taking out Daniel, Isaiah, and yeah. So when Daniel told me that everyone was voting for me, I was kind of stoked because I was like, yes, like I have this, and like I chosen. I knew he was a big threat and someone who was lying to me for a while. Then I knew I was pretty much getting sixth, and Johnny lost immunity, which was my only like one chance of staying. So yeah, we took out Johnny, and then that next tribal, Daniel told me that Taylor was trying to take out me and Daniel since we were a duo, and we ended up making a final 3 with Toby, and yeah, we took out Taylor in LA. Well, that was my journey. Most of my game was trying to dodge the target. I was definitely an underdog that no one thought I would get here, and I had so much fun in this, and yeah, great memories. This was hands down my favorite game ever, and thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nick. And with that, we have Toby. You may go.
Okay, excellent. So first of all, I just want to echo what has been said before and thank everybody involved with this season. It was amazing. Like, this cast of 22 people was just phenomenal. Thank you to the hosts for casting me. Like, this season was a privilege to play in, and I really enjoyed getting this opportunity to try out Tumblr Survivor for the first time. Thank you to all of the people that played, whether you're like pre-juror, juror, or one of the finalists with me. Like, you made this season as special and as unique as it was, and I'm touched to have been a part of this community even for just such a brief time. Hopefully I can stay around. I don't really know, but like, this group of 22 people, I feel like we were closely knit. We were a tight season. Like, we didn't fight, we didn't have big drama. It was just a group of people having a great time together for the period of about a month and a half, and I really appreciated being a part of this. So thank you very much. But the business at hand is Final Tribal Council, which is always a fun time where I'm going to try to prove to you that against these other two very deserving candidates that your vote should go to me. And I feel like I'm going to have a not particularly easy time with it, but I still believe that even if it might be an uphill battle, I still think I can prove that I played a game deserving of your jury vote. And that's because I think in a game of Survivor, the core concept, like the core theme running through almost everything that happens in the game is fear. You have fear of others. You have others' fear of yourself, and you have the fear of failure, like, balanced against the prospect of success. And I feel like that's not only the defining theme of a Survivor game, but it's also particularly important to my game. For almost this entire game, from day one to right now, was I manipulated fear. I made sure that no one was scared of me. No matter what I did, no matter who I got out, no matter who I influenced to get out, nobody was scared of Toby. And I made sure that when I wanted someone out, I was laying those seeds to make other people scared of them. And for some people, they did it for me. Most notably, Jordan Pines. He was such a strong player, and he made everyone terrified of him. I didn't have to do anything about that one. I just made sure to keep reinforcing to people, Jordan is scary. Jordan's going to beat us. Jordan has idols. He has challenge wins. He has strategy. He is social. We need to get out Jordan. And that's why for those few rounds, no one was looking at me. I wasn't important because Jordan was here. Then Petit. I kept on emphasizing how Petit was going to go on an immunity. To tell you honest, he never was. These challenges were so varied. He was going to lose something inevitably. But I kept on redirecting people to be scared of Johnny. Don't be scared of me. And I feel like that is one of the things I was most successful in this game, because I was always number 2. Every single vote, I was never the person leading the vote, and that was always by design, because the people that lead votes, the people that take on those dominant positions, they always get voted out. I made sure I always was in the know. I was always influencing the vote to make sure it was an outcome I liked, but I was never directly saying, you vote this person, you vote that person, I'm the dominant leader here, look at me, I'm scary. And I feel like that could be seen as me just being invisible, I don't care, I'll do whatever other people say. But that's what I'm trying to show, is that this entire time I have been playing the game in a specific way. It's a way that's very difficult to win. I acknowledge that. I went into the season with this strategy knowing it would be difficult to win with this strategy. But I feel like it's one I pulled off so effectively that, you know, the only time someone voted for me was on day 2 when Jenna thought I was inactive, and with the help of Nick, I flipped an entire tribe to vote her out. And that was the only time I really took a dominant position. Then I sat back. I made sure everybody liked me. I tried, well, I don't think I just tried. I think I did build friendships with people. I genuinely cherish the relationships I have with every single person on this cast I was on a tribe with. And I can say that without the slightest fakeness or shred of like ass kissing in my heart. I genuinely cherish all of you people, no matter what you decide to do tonight or anything like that. I care about this game, but I care about the people in this game a lot more. So I built as something that will be important to me far long after I forget about Tumblr Survivor Andalucia. But I still do want to talk about my game because I do want to win. And to go back to that, with this concept of fear, I also made sure that my fear of others wasn't obvious. And I made sure to quell my fear of failure, which is what led other players to make those unnecessarily self-combustive big moves that inevitably brought them down. You know, people did huge blind sides or play big idols to save themselves. I didn't do anything of that. I didn't use advantages or do anything that would attract attention to myself. When I had the opportunity all the way back in the Beans Dilemma challenge to take an advantage, I didn't, because I'm like, I don't want to be scary. I don't want people to be scared of me. I don't want people to think that I'm someone that should be voted out. So that's and how this aspect of my game, this manipulation of fear, was what I've done this entire time. And I feel like I did it quite well, because who was scared of me? Nobody thought I was worth voting out. And it was because of this fear, it was because I built these social relationships, which was especially difficult for me, because I know you've heard this all so many times before, but time zones were a killer for me this game. Having to work around that was something that defined me this game. I had half as much time as everybody else to build these relationships, to know where the votes are going to go, to know how tribal's going to turn out. And despite that, I still built these relationships. Every tribal, I knew what was going to happen. Even on tribals where I voted wrong, and the only one of those was when Isaiah was eliminated, I still knew the majority of votes are going to Nick. And there's a couple of votes. I thought there was going to be one. I didn't expect there being two. I will be honest. I didn't know that was happening. But I knew the other votes were going to be on Isaiah, not me. I knew I was safe. I did a little bit of sowing conflict and fear again to manipulate that into a situation I liked. Every single tribal, I knew what was happening. I knew it was happening because I made sure nobody was scared to tell me anything. It's another part of this idea of fear. People are scared of people. They don't tell them things. No one was scared of me. I was somebody that you could always come to with a bit of game information. I'll give you advice. I could come to with a bit of life information, which is anything that was happening with you. And I would be open to just chat. And that was the most valuable part of this game for me. The times when we just forgot that we were on this beach together and we just chatted. And I just want to finish by thanking everyone who I just chatted with for giving me that opportunity. I really appreciated it. And best of luck to everybody. I hope we have a fun night, and to the jury, good luck.
Okay, thank all of you. I'm going to send the link to the first jury member.
Okay, Christy from Survivor.
What?
I was just talking to Toke. It was. He knows what I'm saying.
Okay. Anyways, I sent it to our first juror.
Mock me, Mr. Kennedy.
I'm like, I've heard this before.
I spoke from the heart.
Okay.
Honey.
I'm kidding. I did my eyebrows.
Is our first. Okay, they're coming.
I think I messed it up though because I kept touching my face. Not good.
It's Jordan Pines.
Oh my gosh, it's Jay Pines.
Jordan, make it. We have people that are.
I have plans at 11, so I am going first. I'll be watching the rest of Final Tribal tomorrow if I have time. So make these good, because for all you know, this and opening speeches will be literally all I base everything on. All right. So, can you hear me? My computer is completely frozen right now.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello? Yeah.
We can hear you. I don't know if you can hear us.
Oh, God. Great start.
Jordan, probably we can hear you.
Oh, no, Jordan.
Oh.
Can y'all hear me? Y'all are frozen right now.
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
I messaged you.
We can hear you.
Okay, I'm messing.
This is a great way to deflate the tension.
He can't hear us, but we can hear him. I told him to leave. Oh, now he's frozen. I told him to leave and come back.
Great questions, Jordan. Thank you so much.
It's been a really informative jury speech.
I want every jury to stop. But first of all, I just want to thank the host so much for this amazing experience.
I can't kick him because then I don't think he's allowed to come back. Oh, he's coming back. Okay.
Shook.
We're on a commercial break.
I'm sponsored by Tumblr Survivor Jordan Pines.
I need that.
Why isn't this like a round table?
Because that is garbage.
Tell me three finalists who played the most Andalucian.
Yeah, he says he had to restart Google Chrome. Give him a minute. Alex, do you have any questions?
One time if I'm a juror, I would have made my speech like a BuzzFeed quiz, and you just have to screenshot me your results, and I vote based off that. That would be like the only thing I did.
Make it a challenge.
Oh my god.
You have to get a certain result on the which. Look at a challenge. You have to first person to get the I don't know, Apple result on which fruit are you quiz.
Alex,
wins individual immunity.
Alex, according to the rules of Isla de las Muñecas, it's by playing you accept the host's decision as final. You're welcome to voice your opinions, but please respect Austin, Eddie, and Sam's calls. And Austin found it.
Pines was. I thought Pines was back on. He's not though.
Oh, there's two Daniels.
There's two Daniels. No, we're good now.
Oh no, we lost. Back to one.
Sorry, I just went back to my computer.
Okay, we're just waiting for Jordan because his computer's a mess. I guess I don't know. We could go to the next person, but I'm not going to.
Sponsored by Kleenex.
Sponsored by Kleenex. We're not sponsored. Please, no.
Come on, Jordan. Oh, he says he's rejoining now. Jordan,
let's try that one more time.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, my computer just completely froze as soon as I joined. So, hello. I'm going first because I'm playing 11. I'm probably going to be one of the more friendly jurors because it's not a sign of me being friendly. It's more of a sign of there are some salty jurors. Nick, beware of Toph. That's my one warning I should give you, bud. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to make this quick. I'm going to go sort of one at a time with each of you, give you my critiques from what I saw at least of your games, and like give you a chance to explain it to me so I get a further understanding. Does that work with y'all? Yeah. So I'm going to start with Toby. You're probably one who I knew the least in this game. You raised some pretty fair points in your opening statement about how you directed Thea and made sure that no one looked at you, no one was scared of you, and that's solid points. My issue with it is you did do that, but to a point where it could have been done so effectively that I don't think people see you as a contender to win. I agree with that because I think your game has merit. I think it does. But my issue is your game was so under the radar, it's almost like too under the radar. You know what I mean? Where it's hard for me to like identify strong points in it enough that I can like give you my vote. You know what I mean? So if you want to like take this time and like just like explain to me like, let's say highlights, if you would.
Mm-hmm.
Is that yeah?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, I knew this strategy. That's great. Never mind. I knew the strategy would be a difficult one to work with, to win with. Like, This is going to be a hard final tribal for me. I acknowledge that. My strategy was incredibly under the radar. I'm not pretending it wasn't. I'm not saying that I was some like Russell Hantz type player. I definitely wasn't. But I do feel like I definitely did a lot of things this game. I wasn't sitting back. I was always, if not in the driver's seat, I was just kind of there. I was influencing what was happening. And like some examples of that was at the Isaiah boot, I made sure to stoke a conflict between Nick and Isaiah, so that Nick would look that way instead of looking at me when casting his vote. That was something I did. I was spreading information.
Like what the conflict that you spread was?
Yeah, just information that the two were targeting each other, that they were that one was coming to me saying, I'm targeting the other. I went to that one. He said, I think it was Isaiah first that said he was interested in voting Nick. I went to Nick with that. Nick was like, oh my God, I have to vote out Isaiah. Went to Isaiah with that, made sure those two weren't going to compare notes, realized I was the rat. So yeah, that was just like one example. Highlighting the game was, I think, like making sure that I always knew what was up. I had information like about your idols. I knew about those.
How did you know about them? That's my thing. I can understand you maybe the second one getting loose, but there was not a person I told about the first one. So you could have speculated, and I'd believe it'd be fair to speculate I had the idol, but can I ask how you knew? Is that yeah? Yeah,
sure. The way it is kind of speculation, but it was speculation that was so solid I felt like I knew it for sure. It was that I knew that first idol had been. It was speculation that I was so confident I was going to get my game.
So I wouldn't be surprised if that one got out there. But the first one, no one was told about. So just let's count it as speculation because that's what it is, bud. Okay. Yeah. The second one, if you knew,
it was just because I knew.
Yeah. Okay, keep going. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm really not.
Yeah. No, sorry. Don't worry. I don't take any offense at all. But yeah, like I'm gonna look at like another highlight. I don't know. The game didn't really have a lot of highlights is my problem, but like just every vote I was always right. I was always like
trying to get you to give me some highlights.
Yeah, but it was more.
Okay.
I'm not sure how much of a highlight it is to say that I was number 2 on that vote and made sure that it was who I wanted, because that's not a highlight and there's no way I can pretend it was. But I think I did it with such consistency at every single merge tribal. I was always there telling people, sort of maneuvering them into voting the way I wanted them to vote, that I always knew what was going down, and I was always happy with the elimination. There was never an elimination this season when I was unhappy with the person that went home. Nobody went home at a time I didn't want them to go. And I think that was the big highlight, is just consistency.
That's solid. That's solid. We're good. That's solid. All right. Next, I'm going to move on to my son, to Nick. By the way, all three of you can unmute yourselves, because I'd love if any of you disagree with another finalist. Let's just interject and be like, actually, I love that type of shit. So feel free to if any of you, Nick and Daniel, if you have any shit to say about Toby, Daniel, Toby, you got any shit to say about Nick, and Nick and Toby, you got any shit to say, Daniel, spread the drama, because this is what's loved about this type of thing. You know what I mean? Really throw each other under the bus. All right, Nick, I love you. You know I'm your biggest supporter on the jury.
Thank you.
When I described our relationship in this game, I was always like, yeah, Nick's like my little brother in this game. And this is how I view at least what happened from my vote off and on. You were in the game, so obviously you'd have more, and I just kind of wanted to clarify what I think is what happened versus what happened. I look at it as the older brother went off to college, aka got voted out, and Nick had to start doing shit by himself, right? So yeah. I guess what I'm curious about is how did you navigate? Because am I wrong to be narcissistic and assume I was your number one ally up until that point?
Yes.
You can say no. You can say no if it's not true. It's okay.
Wait. So what was your question point?
Just how did you think that you managed the game after I was voted out?
Okay, so I kind of getting into making moves, and it was mainly me getting the target off myself, and because literally the target was me pretty much every week. Mm-hmm. So it was about giving the numbers to make sure that it was not me, and I think I did that pretty successfully.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'll take it. And I'm gonna move on to Daniel.
Hi.
Hi. So, we're at an interesting thing right here, Daniel, because game-wise, I have the most good things to say about you out of the final 3, but I also have the most bad things, and that's my issue right now. First thing I'm going to talk about is my vote. But we have a lot. You are the one I'm going to spend the most time with here. And it's out of love and a bit of shade, but mostly
I understand. I get it. Absolutely.
So, voting me out, solid job. I'm happy. I'm impressed because I don't know if you knew this. Maybe you did.
This is the first time Nick. Wait, by the way, this is the first time Nick has known that I voted you out.
Wait, really?
Honey, it took me 2 minutes. We're gonna
Nick, how did you not know?
We're gonna get to that point, actually, Daniel, because what I was saying was, you voting me out, solid move. I don't know if you knew this, maybe you did. I was planning on turning at you at Final 9. Like, literally
Wow,
the
really?
next vote. I was working with
Wow.
Madison where she was, like, happy to let LA go. We were planning on turning on you the very next vote. And I got through your voice, you didn't know that, but you made the move before I did. So kudos to you on that. Like, not mad about that. Like, it was a good move. I wasn't playing Wing anyway.
Can I, like, say something to that? Can I, like, do you want me to explain that vote to you?
We'll get to that in a bit, but I have another point I want to talk to you about.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, like, I respect the move to get me out, and I do want to hear more about that.
Yeah.
What I don't respect is what came right afterwards, which is the message you sent. And you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes. Yes.
The message you sent me 2 seconds after I voted out the, oh my God, what just happened? I'm flabbergasted. I'm next to go. And I love you, honey. But it didn't take me that long to put 2 and 2 together and figure out
for sure
and who didn't.
Yeah.
Had you had not done that, I would say there'd be very little doubt you'd be getting my jury vote. But your game that's so based upon social relationships,
yeah,
I find it kind of silly how you chose to sort of not throw away that social relationship right at the end, but you tried to treat me like I was a bit of a dumbass right afterwards. But you were insinuating was that it wasn't you who flipped on me, but it was Nick, which I love you. But let's look.
Yeah. I can explain everything that you said.
That's
I can
really
explain
what I
all
want.
of
Like,
yeah, absolutely. So I'll start with your vote.
If you can back it up, then by all means,
yeah,
solid job. I just want to see if you can.
And I do think I can solidly justify everything I did. Like I said, every move that I made, even minor messages, was very strategic. Okay. Your vote off was me preemptively striking before you would get me out. And the reason why I felt like you were going to get me out was because Isaiah had informed me that you had the second idol.
Yeah, I fucking Isaiah. I knew it.
And so he also told me that you had told Isaiah and Nick. And that let me know that I was nowhere close to your end game. And when I was in Target and I was talking to you, and I was already concerned because you had told Isaiah conversations that I had had with Petra, who she had told
that
you.
That call we had, by the way, was that as like bad for you as it was for me? That was
you told me that you weren't going to vote me out yet. So at that point, I was like, oh, yeah. So when Isaiah let me know that you had that idol, I knew I had to get you out at that moment. I left Madison out of the blind side. I got LA and
Smart. I'll give you that because Madison was gonna tell me. She didn't know anything.
I know because Madison told me that you two were close. Which was whatever. But I got LA and Poteet to not tell Madison about the vote at all. I was the one who gave the go ahead to Toby. I had talked to Taylor, and then last minute I got Petra to flip on you because she had told you everything. You had told Isaiah. Isaiah told me. So that was my justification for voting you out.
Like I said, that I get. That I get is fine.
So then after the fact, I wanted to make sure that I was afraid that my game was going to get blown up at that point, that people were going to start connecting the dots. That was all me. In that next round, I needed to sit back and either be safe automatically or try to figure something else out. And so by messaging you that, I wanted
you to be Master of Terror.
Or not tell Nick and Isaiah that I was the one that did it.
Because I wasn't going to tell them that, 'cause I'm not going to influence the game or the jury.
But I'm not saying you are. I'm every single thing.
Not to like shit on your explanation right here, but you're basically saying that you told me that so I wouldn't cheat.
No, that's not what it is, because I know how I would react in emotion, and as I'm going out of the game, I would say something like that. That's me. That's me. After you worked really hard in this game, probably harder than I did at that point, and so I would understand if you did. I don't think you would have cheated, but I'm trying to cover all my bases. My game is purely analytical, and every single move I made was important to me. And so I felt like at that point, that was the smartest thing for me to do. It worked. Nick had no clue I voted you out. Isaiah had no clue I voted you out. So
oh yeah, he was convinced up until he came to the jury that Nick had voted for me.
I know.
I was kind of a little shocked. Like, come on, people.
So that was my entire thing. But I honestly completely do understand your point of view from it, and I can only say that's my justification for it, and I hope that my performance in this game can outweigh that for you.
I'll give you that. It's not bad. But one last thing before I go. Toby, any thoughts on Daniel's I allowed Toby to start the thing when he was explaining the justification of my vote? Any comments on that? Would you say you were allowed by Daniel to get me out, or did you do it yourself?
Again, it is true technically, but it's presented in a way that I don't think is entirely accurate as to how it happened. More accurately I was to vote, but then because time zones, I had to go to sleep and woke up an hour before the due date, and Daniel messaged me saying, hey, I've got people on board, the vote can go ahead. It wasn't Daniel coming from above and saying, "Lo, Toby."
I can actually elaborate to that, because Toby wanted you out because he knew that you were targeting him pre-merge, because I had told him, because Isaiah had told me. So
actually, Isaiah told me
that, so at that point, I knew I could get you out at some point if I can get the other side to flip. That's why I allowed, that's a bad choice word. I didn't allow Toby to do anything in this game. Let me rephrase that. I didn't allow him to do anything, but I knew he would be very happily he would be very happy to vote you out.
This is just me trying to start drama because I'm bored, you know. But seriously, guys, to all three of you, really good game. All three of you played what I would like to say is really 3 different games, and I think you're gonna just wishing you guys luck answering the questions going forward. I have one last thing to say before I go, and it's again to Daniel. Daniel, honey, I love you. Bottom of my heart. Can you guess how long your opening speech was? Because I checked.
Like 10 minutes. It was a lot. I talk a lot. It was like 10 minutes.
And 44 seconds in comparisons to Nick and Toby's that were around 3 minutes each.
Sorry, I have a lot to say.
You literally did almost double both of their opening
Really?
speeches.
I thought mine would be like 20.
No.
Sorry, I'm a talker. Sorry.
All right, but seriously, guys, good game. No hard feelings. I look forward to hopefully watching the rest of this tomorrow.
Goodbye, Jordan Pines. Okay, our next juror is coming. I'm sending them the link.
I told y'all I was gonna get roasted. I told y'all.
I should have made a longer speech and 2 useless speakers.
Hopefully they can actually join us. There's gonna be, like, I think we're gonna do like all the videos, and I'm gonna like all the people that are gonna come on, and then I'm gonna like read the people's out loud that aren't here, just so these people can get on with their lives.
Oh my god.
Well, afternoon for me, I guess.
I'm still shook.
Nick, did you really not know? I thought it was obvious. I thought literally everyone knew.
Sorry, Nick. Love ya.
So flabbergasted right now.
I feel like this person might need an email invite and they just don't know it.
Oh my gosh, it's LA.
Now LA knows.
The LA knows.
Oh.
Such a big.
Who's someone that was never in Hangouts?
Is Nick lagging or is it just me?
Nick, you're really lagging.
Okay.
Nick, you're lagging.
Like really bad right now. Like it wasn't that bad before, but it's really bad right now.
It sounds like someone's playing a harp with your voice.
Really bad harp.
All my friends are at the club right now without me. It's fun.
No, like I'm.
Okay, yeah, they do need an email invite.
I don't.
They
Not
say
you.
hurry. This
God,
might
why
be
am I
rushed.
so laggy?
I don't know.
Oh, bye.
Oh my god, final two.
Bye, Nick. We'll wait for him.
Nick has been medically evacuated due to bad Wi-Fi. The choppers like come into final tribal set.
God. Okay, there he is. There's a...
Oh my gosh. You guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Hello.
Like 6 floors. I'm at work right now. I'm 6 floors up hiding from my supervisor right now, so I'm gonna hurry up. So let's see. First of all, I want to say thank you for hosting this amazing game. I think you guys did an amazing job. Sorry for the background noise. This is a mess. So this is how I want to start off. I want to say congratulations to the final two, because I do believe that you guys did a fantastic job getting here. Oh, you guys might be thinking that I'm missing Nick. I'm not really. I didn't have any really bad blood for him, but I guess in his rites of passage, he felt the need to kind of drag me for some reason I don't actually understand why he did it. Well, I just kind of wanted to point out a couple reasons why he was incorrect with a lot of his false claims. Let's see. First, he said that I lied to him, where, as Toby pointed out previously, that he was coming for me. If you look at it, I was talking to Daniel Kennedy the night of immunity was ended, and I actually originally told him that I wanted to target Toby. I told Toby I wanted him. I told Daniel that I wanted Toby out. 5 minutes later, 5 minutes later, Toby comes to me and tells me that Nick is targeting me at like 11:09. If screenshots need to be shown, I can show screenshots, by the way. But pretty much Nick is lying about me saying that I've been lying to him the whole time, because I wasn't targeting him until Nick actually told me this information. So I would like to say, to actually have a big kind of respect for you, because after you actually explained your game, it actually makes a lot more sense, because if it wasn't for that, I actually do believe you would have been voted out that round. So kudos to you. You have a lot more respect than I actually player. I feel like Nick is just kind of like spouting information without knowing what's going on. He didn't even know Jordan was voted out by Daniel. But anyway, I didn't know Jordan was voted out by Daniel, which is why I also want to give kudos to Daniel. I think that was actually very sneaky, very smart. So I guess my question to the three of you guys before I get caught by my supervisor is, if the Master of Terror wasn't used, I think you would be sitting in that spot. Like, if the Master of Terror wasn't actually an existing twist, do you think you would be in the final three right now? And if so, like, if you don't think you would be in that spot, who do you think will be in the final three? I would like to hear from Nick first, then Daniel, and then I would like to hear from Toby. And can you guys make it fast, because I feel like I'm being hunted down right now.
Okay, Nick, go, quick. If you're actually...
I mean... Okay. Oh, I would definitely not be here with I don't know who'd be here instead of me. Probably like maybe Madison. I don't know. Wait, no, that wouldn't make sense. It'd probably be LA.
I'll have a lot of time. I just need like some names, you know. Just give me three names. There's no right or wrong answer.
Wait, is it still on me?
Yeah. Just so you just give me who would be there instead of you if it.
Okay, well, I think it'd probably be like there, so. Daniel, Toby. It'd probably be through the final four ones except for me.
So LA.
Okay. All right, Toby.
Daniel.
Let's go with Daniel. Daniel, go ahead.
If the Master of Terror didn't exist, the final three would be me, you, and LA.
Okay.
And Toby.
I'd say if the Terrors didn't exist, the final three would have been me, Daniel, and LA probably, because the only thing that changed is it would have made Nick go instead of you, but then I probably still would have tried to target you pretty soon afterwards.
Okay. Well, I would like to say congratulations to the final two. I think you guys did a fantastic job. And I actually don't know where I'm voting at, so I would like to see, I'd like to see all three of you guys just kind of answer with the best of your ability and just do a good job with the answers. It was nice meeting both of you and Nick. And, all right, I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Okay, our next person. I have to find them.
That was bad. Okay.
I lost Ponderosa. Oh, there it is. Hopefully they're still here.
Oh my god.
Alex, I might invite a special guest to read out the questions for the people who aren't here.
Why?
Because they asked.
Is it Jenna?
No. If only.
That's
I
so
love
funny.
Jenna. I miss her.
Same. It's unfortunate.
I swear it is.
Hello?
Hi, Toph.
Is the
Fine.
Iconic King back?
Yep.
Alright, give me 1 second. Alright. Alright, so shall I begin?
Yep.
Please do.
Well, like Isaiah said, congratulations to the final two tonight. Absolutely love you both sitting up there. I think you all are amazing. Alright, so I'm gonna start with a little memo. My vote is in the air between you two. Because I feel like you both really deserve a win or the win. I think the games you played were very different, but also very winning of who you guys can all know. Yeah, say who you are. So like we have the snake, we have the rat, and we have the bird. So my first question is, what do you guys think you each are? Are you a snake, a rat, or a bird? Anyone can answer.
Whoever. Nick, go.
Well, okay. Well, it's been obvious that I'm the snake.
That's a lie. You are the rats, honey.
Okay. Daniel.
I think I'm the bird, honestly.
No, you're wrong still.
And Toby.
I thought I was the bird.
You are. But I have,
Explain.
I will. Alright, so my first question is for the snake, quote unquote snake, Daniel Kai. Because I feel like your gameplay was very, like, to me it was confusing because I didn't understand it. But it was also very, like, I was into it because I thought you were iconic the whole game. And I was kind of confused. So I was like, okay, you're a snake because they scare me. So my first question to you is, what was the most selfless and selfish thing that you have done this game?
What is the most selfish thing?
And selfless.
And selfless. I think the most selfish thing was knowing that Nick had the Master of Terror and not telling anybody, and just allowing Isaiah to go home, even though we probably had the closest personal relationship. So that was probably my most selfish thing. My most selfless thing is probably not letting Nick get voted out, because I think at any point he could have gotten voted out if I had, this sounds bad, if I had kind of allowed it to happen, because everyone wanted him out at a lot of points. But Nick stayed, and Nick can say it's because of him. I personally believe it's because of me, because I think Nick had a rough hand in this game, and I think he deserved to make it far. So that's my selfless act.
Alrighty. Let's go to the bird, Toby. I classified you as the bird because I feel like this whole game you have been there. And we notice you, but you haven't done anything that makes us be like, oh wow, this is amazing. So my first question to you is, what was your biggest move that you have done this entire game?
The biggest move that I've done this game, you know, I'm just going to keep going back to that tribal council because it's huge to me, was making sure that the votes were redirected towards Isaiah when they very easily could have gone towards me, making sure that I had those contingencies in place, I had those plans ready, that in case anything went wrong, I would be safe, that I was protected from all sides, and that was the one tribal this merge that I was genuinely in danger, and I made sure that everyone fell in place, that nothing could have hurt me, and the way it ended up, nothing could have hurt me.
Okay.
All right. Let's go to Nick. So you sat your ass and followed the pack this whole entire game. I haven't seen you done anything that has made me be like, oh wow, he deserves this win, other than other jurors just calling you cute and thinking that you're just saying. So I want you to plead to me why you thought it would be okay to spill info to me, the person going home, and expect the game to have different outcomes if I had stayed, or like what was your of spilling that tea from the other side?
Okay, well, I did this mainly to try to save you, but I couldn't get the votes, and I didn't really want to vote in minority, so it was kind of pointless.
Okay, this one is kind of a random question for all three of you. I want, I don't care who, but any of you, to explain to me why you wanted to take me out, and if I was seen as a threat, or if I was just seen as a easy vote to be taken out.
I can take this one if you're okay with that. Like, for me, the reason that I was voting for you, even though I really liked you and connected with you personally, is that you were the one person in this merge I knew I could never predict. Like, you were going to act chaotically, you were going to be strong, you were going to be scary, and I didn't want you around messing up plans, potentially doing something that I completely didn't expect. Everyone else in this merge, to some extent or another, I kind of knew what sort of game they're going to go for. Around, just turn around and do something completely different, and I would have no ability to react to that, to pre-prepare for it, and that was like the core idea of my game, so I didn't want you potentially just taking it out by the foundations.
Do you want all of us to answer that?
If you have an answer to it, I would love to hear it.
Yeah, I guess for me, I mean, personally, I was looking for all options at that point, which is why we had talked about getting that minority group together to potentially work something out. But at that point, I was still trying to get the bigger targets ahead of me. And I feel like at that point, if I had personally tried keeping you, it would have just made blood on my hands, because like I had told you, your side was very well known for throwing people like Jordan under the bus, like Nick under the bus, who were trying to make plans with y'all to take out our side. And so I was worried that y'all were going to do that with me. And so I couldn't risk flipping on my side just yet. I had to wait until the right people were there in order to flip. So, and like Toby said, you see everything in the game, kind of like me in a way, but you act on it compared to me where I just sort of wait, which is admirable because it does remind me of me back in the day. But that's exactly why I got first boot at merge a lot. So I think that's why I chose to vote for you and go with the group at that point.
All right. So I'm just, Nick, do you have anything to say about that, or?
Yeah, it was pretty easy. It seemed like you were a loud person, and obviously because you just me. But yeah, you were just seen as a little bit shady, and
all right. I just have like a few final words to say. Toby, if you aren't having yourself a good day, bitch, you need to make yourself have a good day, honey, because you deserve a good day, because you are amazing. Daniel K, I think you are still iconic, and I love you. And our talks were just like therapy talks in a way, because they were like always therapeutic to me and they helped me. So I was like iconic queen. And Nick, hopefully that relationship we built won't crumble down like a chocolate chip cookie. and we can become friends after this game. But during this game, like I said when I went home, you will not have my vote if you make Final 3. And with that is all I have to say. Good luck to you, Final 2.
Okay, goodbye, Toph. Okay. I just sent the link to our next juror.
Bitch, I ain't having myself a good day.
Relatable. There's Madison.
Hi.
Hello.
Just said I'm going to try and keep it short, unlike the other jurors. No shade. First of all, I just want to say that I'm very proud of all three of you, and I love you guys very much. And you guys have been really, really great and treated me not just as a player and as a person, and I really do appreciate that. And that is going to go into consideration with my vote. Daniel, I did originally have a question for you, but I decided not to because I feel like you kind of explained everything I was looking for. So I'm just going to say that your eyebrows look really good today.
Literally, thank you so much. I was talking about this before we started. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
I want to save my question for Nick for last, and I'm just gonna ask Toby. Well, I feel like you kind of established this with Toph, but I'm gonna ask anyway because I have no other question. Out of the final three, I believe that you had the strongest game, but what game moves did you make that may overshadow the other two?
Yes, as I've said, like, my game wasn't about moves, but I still feel like I did make some, not necessarily like really big, dramatic, game-changing moves, but I still made those smaller moves that I think were influential. You know, I caused that drama to make sure those two people that could potentially come together, vote me out, made sure they wouldn't do that. You know, I ensured that people were going to be getting rid of people like Johnny Petit, Jordan Pines, Chris Stoner, when they could just as easily turn the target around on me by ensuring that people kept on viewing the game the way I wanted them to see it, rather than the way that other people understand. I think that was probably my biggest move, is making sure that people saw the game the way I wanted them to see it.
Okay. My question for Nick is, there are some people that believe that you got lucky in this game because of the Master of Terror twist, while others believe that you utilized a twist and used it to your advantage. Was that a part of your strategy, or was it all really luck-based?
Yeah, I definitely wanted to use the twist to my advantage. When I wanted safety, I wanted to use it wisely. Especially with yours, I used it pretty wisely.
Can I say something? Can I say something to that though? Like straight up. So I knew that Nick had the Master of Terror that round because the Master of Terror chose the twist, and me and LA were talking, and she had asked me what the twist was, and everyone at that point assumed that she had it. So I was like putting 2 and 2 together. So I was like, oh shit, she has it. I easily could have switched the vote or had told people, hey, LA told me this information, but I didn't. Like I just let it happen. So I don't think Nick really utilized it to his advantage because I found out. I utilized it to my advantage that he had it and I knew, but I don't see a way that Nick can say that he used it to his strategy, because when I approached him and was like, hey, so LA I don't think LA has it. Do you know who does? And he's like, oh, I'm not allowed to say. Yeah, I figured at that point he knew that he had it. So then we discussed who we wanted to blindside that round between Isaiah and Toby. So
when was Toby?
I'm not trying to say that. I'm not trying to say that like it's just me, but like to say that it was only him utilizing that twist is ridiculous, and I think it's a lie. So.
Okay. Well, that's all the questions I have. But before I go, I just want to say thanks to the host for an amazing season. I actually do genuinely want to have friendships with a lot of people in the cast, and I met some pretty amazing people, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And good luck to the final 3. My vote's still up in the air, but we'll see what happens with the rest of these questions. So may the best man win.
Bye, Madison.
Tell Peyton I said hi.
Love you.
Okay. That's all the people that are actually going to be here.
Yeah. People are fantastic.
LA and Johnny sent a message. Did anyone else send one? I know Petra and Taylor sent us absolutely nothing. But as it is.
Good old Doodle.
I'm gonna invite a guest to read them.
So we can get some live.
Yeah. But I don't want to read questions out loud. Okay, he's joining us. I have to go find the questions. The fuck? Just sent him the thing.
Bitch, me too.
There's Seamus.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes. You get to read out that question from LA, and then you're gonna read Johnny.
1 second.
Wait, is he just reading the question or the entire thing?
Oh, he's reading the whole thing. Because I don't want to.
Okay. Do I need to go in camp? Does it matter? Oh god. What is this? All right, LA says, first of all, I'd like to apologize for not being able to make it tonight. Something came up. I'd also like to thank the host and the cast for a fun season. I've enjoyed getting to know some of you. Hopefully we get a chance to play again. Now for questions. Toby and Nick, I have the same question for you two. Tell me about your game, the big moves you made to get here. I don't know a whole lot about how you played.
Let's pause there, and then have the questions be asked, and then we'll read the rest. So Nick and Toby, you know the question. Whoever wants to answer first. Go ahead.
I guess I'll go.
I can.
Okay, Nick will go.
Wait.
Nick, please answer.
I can.
Okay. So, yeah, one of my biggest moves was trying to make sure the target was not me, because by final 9, I think, I was the main target for everyone, and yeah, like that was pretty much my strategy. Well, yeah, it was to like dodge the target off myself and keep myself alive in this game 1 round at a time. And I'm here.
And you're here. Toby.
And yeah, for me, as I've said a few times this season, I didn't really play a big move strategy, and that was by design. Like, I feel like people that make big moves often end up just alienating people and kind of not achieving what they want to achieve. So I tried to avoid those big game-changing moves, but I still feel like I did make those moves. Like, pre-merge, I made social connections with basically every single person I met, made sure I knew them, I was on good terms with them, and then post-merge, I made sure that whenever anybody was even thinking of voting me, I was there saying, look this way, look that way, don't look at me. And that's why I survived nearly this entire game without being targeted at all. And the only time I was targeted, I flipped an entire stride against that person in the space of a couple of hours, which literally the first boot out is still a decent move in my opinion. And in the more important post-merge moves, I was just making sure that I had those contingencies set up. Those just in case this happens, I've got a plan. You know, person is the master of terror, I'm still not going home. And I feel like I did really well in achieving that.
Okay, Seamus, you can read the rest.
Daniel, obviously I was bitter when you decided to vote against me. We had been talking about you and I getting to the end for a while, and when we had a chance to make final tribal council, you flipped because I was a threat. And because the other two had talked to you. I tried to talk to you all day and I got nothing back. You had just messaged me to say you were voting me out, which I assume was just for jury management. My question to you is, what was the reason behind flipping it? Did you have final two deals with Toby and Nick as well? Or if you actually thought I was a threat, how and why?
Yeah, thank you, LA. First of all, I had an end deal with Toby since the beginning. Like when we were first like on a tribe together, that was just something that we both kind of agreed that we would work together. Nick and I started working together once Jordan Pines left. Like we really worked closely together once Jordan Pines left because I scooped him up and we became close. With you, we had always a great relationship, but the reason for me voting for you at the end was strictly because you had attended almost every single tribal council in this game. And if I look at all 4 of our games as a whole, I could argue your game was the best out of the 4 of us, just because you had survived so many tribal councils and you had amazing rite of passage like messages, like very eloquent and very on point to what I believe the jury wanted to hear. And I believe that you would be able to out-talk me at the end, and that really scared me. And I personally believe that I would be able to at least out-talk Nick over you. So that was my reasoning for voting you out. I wouldn't necessarily call it flipping because I was keeping my options open, but I do understand where you're coming from, and that was my reasoning for it.
Okay. And now I'm going to get Johnny's questions. Seamus, I have sent it to you.
Okay. Johnny said, I won't be able to get on, but I'll be able to listen and stuff. So my question is, if you could compare a game to any animal, what would it be and why? Lame, I know, but it works.
Whoever, since Daniel answered last time, we're just going to go in the same order. Go, Nick.
I would probably say maybe like God, I don't know. I'm bad at these kind of questions. Or any type of questions.
I can go if he wants to think of something.
You can come back. We can come back to you.
Yeah, I can go. I would say that the animal I would compare my game to is a chameleon. Chameleons are really able to adapt to their environment, and they're able to change their color depending on where they are. And that's how I felt like my game really was. No matter what happened in this game, I was able to really change and mimic people's feelings and people's thoughts in order to get me farther in this game. Chameleons are really excellent in their field because they're able to adapt, especially when enemies and predators are around. And so for me, being able to be this social chameleon is the reason why I'm here at the end.
Okay, Toby?
Well, I actually was going to say chameleon, but some bitch took it before me. So, with that in mind, I would say that I put myself as like maybe a clownfish, which is a kind of odd choice for this kind of question, but I feel like it fits because I had around me my anemone, and that anemone was people that were scarier than me, people that I knew were going to protect me by keeping me around, or people I knew were going to protect me by being voted out before me. And I had that anemone of poison stings around me, and I was the only one inside that could survive inside these poison stings. And similarly as well, I was also kind of colorful, fun to talk to with people, but not big and intimidating and scary. So as a second bet, I would go with the clownfish.
Okay. Nick.
Okay, so this is probably bad, but I would probably go with like a dog because like I feel like I had to dodge my big characters and
You're a dog because you're loyal. That's why you're a dog.
Yeah.
I thought you said a duck.
Oh, same. I'm a duck.
Quack. Okay, if that's it. I don't think I'm missing anyone that actually sent me something. Maybe I am. Chris Donor went before everyone because Chris Donor is a special case.
Are we going for closing speeches?
Do you guys want to do closing speeches? Does Seamus want to ask a question? I don't.
Stop. Kick Seamus.
I'm not gonna kick Seamus. Do you want to do closing statements? Okay. Whoever wants to go first can go first, since you didn't have time.
Who wants to go? Wait, who went last? Was it?
Who went last in the in the opening? It was Toby.
Toby, would you want to start?
Yeah.
Okay, Toby can go first.
Sure. So, yeah, I feel like the biggest criticism that's been leveled at my game is that I didn't make big moves. And I'm not going to say I made big moves. I really didn't. Like, if you look at throughout this entire game, I don't think I made any of, like, the big memorable moves this season. But I will say, as I've said throughout this final tribal, that was by design. Didn't make a big move. It's not because I wasn't able to or I was too scared to. It was because I considered it and decided I didn't want to. I didn't rely on items or advantages. I relied on the good old social game of making sure no one wanted me gone, no one was scared of me. And that's why I got here, being barely targeted throughout the game, barely considered even as a person that could get votes. And I had a lot of plans this game. I had contingencies for most every scenario, which made me, I think, probably the most flexible player here. In that if anything went wrong, I had an alternate route. Like, for most of this game, I was bound to Daniel, but if something went wrong, I had alternate routes. I didn't commit myself to one way. That way that I ended up going ended up working great, but I had so many side streets that I could have taken. This analogy is getting weird. Anyway, I had so many side streets I could have taken if things went wrong for me, if something happened I didn't expect. And I feel like that shows the consistent strength of my game. It wasn't a game of peaks and troughs. It was a game where if anything went wrong, I had an alternative. It was a game where if something happened, odds are I knew it was happening beforehand, or it was something so minor that it didn't affect anything. It was a game where I was like almost the information dealer. If someone wanted to talk to me, if someone wanted to talk about something, I was always a good option to talk to. Maybe I didn't know the most, maybe I didn't make the biggest move, maybe I wasn't the friendliest, but I was always at a level pace. I was always pacing myself, making sure that I remembered Survivor is not a sprint, it's a marathon. I'm just spouting cliches, I'm very sorry. But it's true, Survivor is not a sprint. I didn't rush out of the gate and I'm going to do big moves, I'm going to win all these challenges, I'm going to find 5 idols and play them. That's what leads people to being early merge boots. I was like, I'm good. And that's the problem. I don't think any of you people knew me from my other orgs. That's what I often do there, is I end up taking big control of merge. I get booted early in the merge. I'm like, I really don't want to do it this time. This is a fresh group of people. Basically, nobody knows who I am. I'm going to be pressed for time thanks to time zones. I'm going to have to play a different game because I had all these kind of unique scenarios I was in, especially my mental state. A few other things, those don't really matter, but I was in this unique situation. I made sure to capitalize on it, turn everything that could have been a disadvantage for me into a strength. So, you know, people think that I don't know, apparently Cristona was scared of me, so I was like, okay, I'm obviously playing too much pre-merge. I need to lay a little bit lower, make sure that I'm always number 2, number 3 on the totem pole. And I think that's a trait shared by a lot of survival winners, is the people, aside from like certain really outlier exceptions, people that are number 2, people that are number 3 are the people that win, because they make sure they play that strong, consistent game that doesn't change, it isn't erratic, it's something that shows that I have planned this game from beginning to end. I was attentive and diligent about this game from beginning to end. Like, I basically never really stopped playing. Like, if anyone needed to talk to me, I was there, able to talk to them, able to socialize with people, because I knew I was more pressed for time than most. So I feel like the trajectory of my game is so flat, makes it look like I didn't care, but I think it showed that I cared so much that I didn't want to risk doing something blasé or doing something completely over the top that would end up with me just getting booted right away. And that was my choice. So, and some of the jurors, maybe they are not going to be convinced that it was my choice, but I'm hope that through this final tribal, I've shown to you that I played this game very meticulously. And I feel like I'm going to leave you with that idea. That if you look back at anything I said, anything I did, every vote I cast, everything I did, even in challenges, was meticulous. I didn't want to win challenges because we saw what happened to Jordan Pines and Johnny Petit. They got destroyed. So I'm like, maybe sandbag a couple of challenges. Maybe don't always everything to try to win immunity. I mean, I probably wasn't going to do it even if I put in my all anyway, but it was still just another little contingency plan, another little strategy I had to make sure I was manipulating fear, as I said in my opening statement, as I said throughout Final Tribal, and as I was saying at the end. I manipulated that fear of people because I was, I think, the player that best understood that every decision that happens in Survivor is based on fear. And I controlled the fear of this game, and that's why I really had my finger on the lifeblood, even if it wasn't supremely obvious, unlike maybe some other people. I was always there influencing things because I was always there influencing the core currency of this game, which is perceptions and fear. And this has been kind of rambling, but I hope this has made some sort of coherent sense and shown what my game really was, like beneath the layers of obfuscating stupidity, obfuscating not caring, obfuscating different things people might have taken out of it. The real game was a lot more meticulous, a lot more carefully planned out than I think some people expected. And I hope I've done a good enough job proving that to you. Thank you very much.
Okay, Nick.
Okay, well, I really don't have that much to say, but I just want to thank you all for a fun game, and yeah, like, it's been an amazing experience, and I hope to talk to you all afterwards, and pretty much all that has been said about my game has been already said. So yeah, thank you.
And Daniel.
Okay. Again, thank you to the jurors for asking these questions. I really enjoyed being able to talk about my game. And I hope you all have really dissected what I've taken and really gone with it. One thing that I noticed with these questions and the similarity that it's hard to miss is that these two sitting next to me had great games. And I can only respect their games. And the reason for that is because I feel like there are many versions of my game. Nick consistently said throughout that he was trying to shift the target off of him. And while he was able to do that through the help of me, I was able to always have the target off of me, proven by the fact that I had 0 votes cast against me. Toby said that his biggest moves were the little moves. And one, he is from Aussie, New Zealand, whatever, so he watches a lot of Australian Survivor. And so I know that he takes notes from Christy, the winner of season 1, spoilers. And she did and said the exact same thing, and I commend him for saying that. But again, it's a mini version of my game, and I'll explain why his analysis of Christy and his direct comparison with himself is incorrect. Christy was able to make these little moves and able to really see the entire landscape of everything and then strike the moment that she wanted to. And Toby was able to see a lot of the landscape through my eyes, maybe not through his own. One example of this is not being a part of the alliance of me, Nick, Petra, Isaiah, and Jordan Pines. With him and Toby being on the outs of that alliance, he wasn't aware that people were wanting him out. And then he also said that since he was making all these little moves, he didn't have to make big moves. I think the whole point of making those very minute and little moves is to be able to make the big moves. For example, I was able to create these social interactions. I was able to identify that Madison was close with Jordan Pines. So a little move of making sure she wasn't part of that blind side saved my game, because if she had known, Jordan would have played the idol and the entire plan would have been ruined. And there are other little moves that I made. For example, being so close to Nick that he basically let me know that he had the Master of Terror. So I was automatically safe that round because I knew he wouldn't vote for me. Whether it was knowing that Taylor was probably planning on voting out me or Toby if I hadn't had already made these great connections with Nick in LA. This is proven by when Taylor's getting voted out. He was saying, Nick in LA, I was ready to give this game to y'all, but you wouldn't listen. Toby throughout the entire time was trying to convince me to vote out Nick instead of Taylor. Ultimately, Taylor got out. That was something because of me. Truly, at the end of the day, I believe that I deserve to win this game. Referring to what I said at the beginning of the game, or the beginning of this speech and the beginning of this Final Tribal Council, I believe that the combination of my physical, social, and strategic game clearly shows that I deserve to win this game. And I really hope that y'all can take the information that you've heard today and come up with that conclusion. But once again, if not, and Toby or Nick win, I'll be very happy for both of them. And I think they're both deserving of the win. And I want to thank everyone for participating in this, and good luck to the guy sitting next to me.
Thank you, and thank you all for being here. Now it turns to the jury. They can vote for any one of these 3 people to win.
Doesn't Nick need to give his speech, or did I miss that?
It was very short. Yeah, you vote as soon as you can, as soon as you know who you want to vote for. We will give you the full 24 hours.
But we'll probably reveal them once we get them all.
Well, yeah, it depends on. I want all you 3 to be here. Is there like a time you guys can be here, or are you just gonna be here all day tomorrow? You're like 9 p.m. work for me to reveal the votes.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Toby, 9 p.m. work? No.
Oh.
What time works for you?
You're muted.
Yeah, you're muted, first of all. You can unmute, I think. No, I can't. Yeah, Toby, you're muted.
Forgot about that, yeah. Yeah, I'm at class tomorrow. I'm just trying to think when my classes are because my brain is frazzled. I'll be leaving my main class at about 9, so I wouldn't be able to get on at 9 because I had a couple other things to deal with. But 9:30 to 10, I should be able to get on.
Okay. We'll reveal votes at 9:30 then. I do want to say vote by 9 p.m. though. That's going to be your deadline. Vote by 9 p.m. tomorrow Eastern, October 15th. Thank you all for playing this game. It was fun to host. I'll probably have more to say tomorrow when I actually know what I want to say. But
I mean, I won't be here, so I know what I want to say.
You're not gonna be okay.
Yeah. I have a music retreat. I just want to say to the finalists and to the jury, this has been like a fantastic game. I love every single one of you guys. This game kind of reinforced why I loved hosting way back in like 2014. And I really want to do it again. I can't wait for me and Jay. You'll be hearing about that. And so I just want to say thanks to everybody here for making it not only an entertaining season, but a fun season and one that I really hope to not forget. And I would like to also thank the viewers for watching. It's been a blast, and I can't wait to see how it ends.
Okay. With that is the end of Final Trouble Council. I'm going to stop the broadcast. Thank you for being here, and good night.